Hey, wealth builders, welcome. Comment the country you're tuning in from. Let's see how global our squad really is. I asked myself a painfully simple question. What's the laziest way to create cash flow that never sleeps, doesn't blow up in crisis, and keeps getting fatter while I binge watch anime on the couch? I crave something truly hands-off. No crazy day trading alerts. No fixing toilets at 3 a.m. No babysitting tenants who swear the rent's in the mail, bro. I wanted that mythical creature, passive, durable, drama-free income. After crawling through forums, annual reports, and more sleepless Reddit threads than I'd admit to my mom, I stumbled onto two underrated cash machines almost nobody in my circle was talking about. First, there are royalty trusts, companies that collect a slice of revenue every time someone sells oil, gas, or even songs on Spotify, then funnel that slice straight to shareholders. Second, there's what private equity nerds call micro-digital estates. Tiny but mighty content websites and e-commerce side hustles that spit out profit while their owners sip coconut water. Both models scream money while you sleep. Both survive multiple recessions. And both can be accessed by normal people with a smartphone and a patience level above goldfish. Sounds perfect, right? Not so fast. Just like dividend aristocrats can get kicked out of the club if they skip a payout, royalty trusts can dry up when a well run's empty, and websites can tank if Google sneezes. That's way too much upkeep for my inner sloth. I don't want to log in every quarter to check if traffic dipped or a reservoir got depleted. I need an autopilot button. So I kept digging until I unearthed a loophole hiding in plain sight: royalty and digital cash flow ETFs. Picture them as giant vending machines jam-packed with dozens of royalty trusts, music IP pools, and income-generating websites rolled into one ticker symbol. If one stream dries up, the ETF quietly boots it and replaces it with fresher, juicier stream. No frantic selling, no capital gains paperwork, no midnight panic. Boom! Maintenance nightmare solved. Before we sprint ahead, let's zoom in on why these assets slap so hard in the first place. Royalty trusts are basically time-limited toll booths. Imagine a pipeline in Texas pumping oil. Every barrel that slides through triggers a tiny royalty. That royalty flows into the trust, skips the corporate bureaucracy, and lands in your brokerage as a chunky distribution. No drilling equipment on your lawn. No phone calls from roughneck crews. Meanwhile, micro-digital estates are like tiny online vending machines. Evergreen tutorials, recipe blogs, niche product reviews. They rank on Google, collect ad dollars, and pay affiliates while you're in REM sleep. But here's where newbies faceplant. They chase headline yield without reading the fine print. Ever seen a royalty trust boasting an 18% yield? Cool flex. Until you realize the field production falls 25% a year and the trust expires in 2032. Same with a site earning $1,000 a month. It might be propped up by one viral post, and when that post dies, so does your paycheck. The real flex is sustainability, not shock value. Enter the ETF trifecta. I personally vibe with RL2Y, the global commodity royalty ETF averaging a 7% yield, IPOY, the music and media royalty ETF at roughly 4%, and WEBX, the micro-digital estates ETF sitting near 6% while reinvesting half its cash to keep traffic climbing. Grab one, blend all three, or dollar cost average into your favorite. It's like building a money tree orchard instead of planting one lonely sapling. Now let's address the elephant sipping iced coffee in the room. Can I actually live off this stuff, or is it internet fairy dust? Quick math time. If you drop $120,000 into an equal basket of the three ETFs today, historical averages suggest you bank roughly $7,000 a year, about $580 a month. Not enough to quit your 9-to-5, but sweet enough to wipe out a car payment. Double the stake to $240,000, and you're flirting with $1,160 monthly, halfway to covering a modest rent in Lisbon. But dude, I don't have $500,000 lying around. Same. That's where the forever underrated dollar cost averaging comes in. Toss $400 into WEBX every payday for 15 years at a conservative 6% annual total return, and you'll stack roughly $150,000. Plug that into our distribution math and boom, around $750 a month for doing absolutely zero work. Yes, markets wobble, Yields yo-yo, and regulators love surprise letters, but the principle remains. Consistent inputs create unstoppable momentum. Of course, no plan is bulletproof. Royalty ETFs can suffer when commodity prices crash. Music streaming legislation could cap royalties, and Google's next algorithm tweak might slap digital estates. Translation: diversification isn't optional, it's oxygen. Spread across sectors, across geographies, across payout calendars. That way, if oil tanks but TikTok remixes spike streaming revenue, you're still sipping mango juice on the beach. One more caveat: watch those expense ratios. Passive ETFs should cost peanuts, not steak dinners. Anything above 0.75% better come with a personal masseuse in the investor package. Always compare the fee drag to the yield you're chasing. A fat fee can amputate your net distribution faster than you can say compounding. All right, let's put the puzzle pieces together. The playbook looks like this. Define your freedom number. Maybe it's covering rent. Maybe it's replacing your salary. Pick one or more of the royalty and digital ETFs that match your risk vibe. Automate your contributions so the decision gets made once and only once. Reinvest at least a slice of distributions until your yield on cost hits double digits. Then route excess cash toward experiences. Because money's ultimate flex is freedom, not Ferraris. But let's zoom out from the spreadsheets for a hot second and talk mindset. Because information without conviction is like having Wi-Fi with no password. Technically powerful, but basically useless. Every millionaire I've interviewed, yes, real humans, not Instagram flexers, shares the exact same invisible habit. They romanticize boring money. While everyone else chases meme stocks or last night's bum crypto, they worship instruments that print small, predictable cash flows month after month. Boring money funds, thrilling lives. Take Naomi Rivera, a former high school teacher from Madrid who banked her first $100,000 by monetizing lesson plan PDFs. She poured every euro of royalty income into ROTY when Brent crude was under $40. 5 years later, the trust distributions paid for the down payment on her duplex, now another passive stream. Or look at Jamal Chun in Singapore, a 27-year-old app developer who scoops up aging tech tutorial blogs, slaps on fresh SEO, and feeds them into WEBX. His monthly digital distribution surpasses his salary, so he codes only for passion projects. You're probably wondering, cool stories, bro, but what if a 2008 level meltdown nukes everything? Excellent fear, because that same fear is why the strategy works. Royalty trusts and digital estates sold off hard in 2009, but their underlying revenue only dipped about 12% on average, and dividends snapped back within 18 months. Google updates come and go. Quality content keeps raking in visitors. Streaming subscriptions actually spiked during lockdowns. Markets crash. Humans still binge music, search how-to guides, and heat their homes. Here's a simple 3-checkpoint filter I use before I deploy a single cent. Permanence. Will people still want it in 10 years? Payout policy. 5-year history of rising distributions. And aligned incentives fund managers holding a fat chunk themselves. If an asset passes all three, it graduates to my watch list. From there, it's pure automation, a standing transfer on the first business day. Reinvest dividends until my yield on cost hits double digits. Then I redirect overflow cash toward bucket list adventures, because money in use is potential wasted. And yes, if you're in a country with punishing withholding taxes, you don't have to take the hit lying down. Many jurisdictions refund a chunk if you file the right paperwork. A 10-minute chore can claw back thousands over a decade. I'll break down that little-known loophole in part 2, so keep your notification bell primed. By the way, if anything here sparked an aha, pause the video, share it with one friend who's stuck in hustle culture hell, and pull them onto the passive income escape raft with us. Knowledge compounds only when you spread it. All right, deep breath. We've dismantled the myth that passive income requires lottery winnings or Silicon Valley insider status. Mapped 2 unconventional asset classes, wrapped them in ETF convenience, shredded rookie mistakes, and installed a mindset upgrade. In part 2, I'll trench dive into my actual allocation, reveal the red flags that triggered my only sell order last year, and build a step-by-step plan you can screenshot and steal. Ready? Smash that like and I'll meet you on the other side. Imagine it's a sticky Tuesday morning. Your alarm goes off, but instead of groaning, you grin. Because overnight you just got paid again. No boss, no invoices, no clients blowing up your notifications. Just a quiet ping from your broker. Distribution credited. You stretch, grab coffee, and swipe open the dashboard. Another deposit from RLTY. More drip reinvested units of WEBX. And IPOI's quarterly drop hitting right on schedule. That's a new ritual we're engineering here. Income so automatic it feels like background music. But rituals only stick when the system behind them is bulletproof. So let's weaponize simplicity. Start with a single brokerage that offers dividend reinvestment plans, 0 commissions on ETFs, and automated transfers. If your current platform flops on any of those 3, migrate before sundown. Friction kills consistency quicker than bad advice. Next, decide your split. My lazy money triangle is 40% RL2Y for juicy commodity royalties, 30% WEBX for digital estate growth, and 30% IPAY for music media diversity. Why 40-30-30 instead of equal thirds? Because RL2Y yields harder today, which snowballs faster when you're stacking shares early on. Tilt the weightings to match your own tolerance for volatility. If oil scares you, slide more into IPAY and WEBX. The core rule: never park more than 50% in any single cash flow source. One revenue river drying up shouldn't strand your entire village. Automate the funding pipeline next. I run a split payday setup. Half my paycheck hits living expenses. The other half beams straight into the triangle. If your salary is irregular, anchor the transfer to whatever day you tend to have the most cash cushion. Could be every Friday, could be the 28th. Just lock it and forget it. Dollar cost averaging thrives on boredom. The less exciting it feels, the more wealth is compounding in the shadows. Now about those distributions. You got 2 flavors. Take the cash or drip. Early stage, reinvest 100%. Compounding distributions buys more shares, which pump future distributions, which buy even more shares. Picture a snowball gathering mass on an infinite hill. Once your yield on cost clears double digits, or once your passive cash exceeds a life goal, like covering rent, feel free to peel off a slice for lifestyle upgrades. I call that the freedom dividend, but keep at least half reinvesting forever. Future you will write thank you notes back through time. Let's talk worst-case scenarios, because ignoring them is how portfolios detonate. Commodity crash? In 2015, oil face planted from $100 to $30, and most royalty trusts slashed payouts 40%. Investors who bailed missed a rebound when crude clawed back. The solution isn't panic selling. It's maintaining redundancy. While RLTY's distributions were bleeding, WEBX's ad revenue barely flinched, and IPAY's music royalties actually ticked up because cheap gas meant more road trips and more Spotify streams. Different engines, different cycles. Diversification isn't decoration. It's the moat around your castle. But diversification won't save you from shark fees. ETFs over 1% expense ratio. Hard pass. Management fees siphon your harvest before you taste it. Aim for 0.75% or below. Check the total cost of ownership. 2. Some brokers tack on custody fees that hide in the fine print. Pretend every percentage point fee is a hole in your bucket. Plug them all. Okay, mindset pit stop. People binge spreadsheets but skip psychology, and that's why they bail at the first red candle. Carve this in stone. Boring money is the gateway drug to thrilling freedom. Chase dopamine elsewhere. Skydiving, spicy ramen. Whatever lights you up, your investments should be chilled to the point of yawning. If you feel euphoric buying something, you're probably the exit liquidity for someone else's plan. Still, discipline loves triggers, so install guardrails. I use a quarterly ritual called Money Court. First Saturday after earnings season, I pour a coffee, pull up each ETF's fact sheet, and run my 3 checkpoint filter: permanence, payout policy, aligned incentives. If any holding flunks, I don't debate on Twitter. I rotate capital into the stronger 2. The whole audit takes under 90 minutes and quashes the itch to tinker the rest of the quarter. Let's flesh this out with mini case study. 2 years ago, a friend named Isaiah wanted passive income but feared oil volatility. He weighted 60% WEBX, 25% IPOY, 15% RLTY. His yield started lower, around 5% blended, but growth crushed it. Webx's digital estates ballooned in value after a Google Core update favored long-form evergreen content. Isaiah's unrealized gains offset RLTY's dip when crude slipped below $70 last spring. Net result? Portfolio up 18% total return. Distributions reinvested. Stress level minimal. Different mix. Same triangle logic. Now, taxes, the unavoidable dragon. Every jurisdiction plays by its own rulebook, but you can slash the dragon's wingspan. Example. If your country offers a tax shelter like an ISA, TFSA, or SIP but blocks US domiciled ETFs, choose the island domicile versions. They withhold only 15% on US dividends instead of 30%, and some nations credit that back. File the reclaim forms annually. The paperwork is dull. The refund is delicious. If your government has a qualified dividend rate, hold the higher yield slices in taxable accounts and tuck growth-heavy tranches inside tax shelters. Bingo! Optimized after-tax compounding without contortionist accounting. But what if these newfangled ETFs get shut down? Valid fear. Scan the provider's AUM, assets under management. Anything north of $500 million is usually safe from closure. Sub-$100 million funds can be zombie ETFs waiting for a mercy kill. All three triangle funds cleared the $500 million mark last quarter. So I sleep like a panda on melatonin. Before we cue part 3, let me gift you the simplest on-ramp template you can swipe tonight. Pick a broker with dividend reinvestment and fee-free ETF purchases. Set a standing order. 40% RL2Y, 30% WEBX, 30% IPOY. Executed monthly. Activate DRIP on all positions until your passive income covers one fixed bill. Schedule money court the first Saturday after each quarter's end. Keep investing through bull screams and bear growls for a minimum of 5 years. That's the skeleton. You'll add muscle, adjusting weightings, upping contributions, as your cash flow swells. The point is to make progress automatic and quitting cumbersome. Remember, systems beat willpower every time. Up next, we'll zoom into the exact KPIs I track to spot red flags before they blow up distributions. Walk through a live purchase on my phone so you can mirror the clicks and tackle audience questions you've been flooding my DMs with, like whether artificial intelligence-generated content sites belong in WEBX, or how rising interest rates reshape royalty valuations. Catch you in a sec, but only if you smash that subscribe button so the algorithm nudges our next rendezvous onto your feed. Fast forward to Saturday morning, money court in session. Laptop open, latte in hand, I pull the latest fact sheets. First metric, trailing 12-month payout growth. RLTY clocked 6.3%, WEBX 8.1%, IPAY 4.7%, all safely above inflation. So green light. Second metric, coverage ratio, cash flow over distributions. Anything below 1.1 sends me to DEFCON 2. Today they sit at 1.34, 1.52, and 1.28. Third metric, asset turnover. A sudden spike means a manager is churning holdings, burning yield and transaction costs. Flat across the board. Court adjourned in under 20 minutes. Passive income remains on cruise control. Time to demonstrate the zero friction buy. Phone unlocked. Brokerage app loaded. Tap trade. Search WEBX hit buy. Punch in 12 shares. Choose recurring monthly. First business day, confirm. Seconds later, I replicate with RLTY and IPOY. Calendar reminders disabled. Automation owns the timeline now. Tiny habitual clicks. Massive compound consequences. Moments like this remind me why I ditched traditional hustle culture. While friends battle FOMO in speculative chat rooms, my capital follows a boring is beautiful rhythm. By drip, review, repeat. No dopamine spikes, no all-nighters, just predictable deposits stacking future freedom. That mental clarity spills into the rest of life. I read more, lift heavier, travel lighter, because my brain isn't hostage to market noise. But let's nuke one last myth. Passive doesn't equal pointless. You'll still feel tempted to chase shiny objects. The cure is future pacing. Visualize Freedom Day. Maybe it's June 7, 5 years out, sunrise on a Bali beach, distribution ping echoing against crashing waves while you sip Kopi Luwak, locked at scene in your head. Every boring deposit is a pixel sharpening the image. Motivation becomes self-propelling. Okay, lightning round Q&A pulled straight from recent comments. Question artificial intelligence sites in WEBX. Threat or boon? A. Boon if managed ethically. WEBX limits any single AI-generated domain to 2% of net assets and requires human editorial oversight, dampening algorithm risk. Question. Rising rates crushed REITs. Will royalty trust bleed too? A. Historically, commodity royalties correlate more with spot prices than with treasury yields. Short-term wobbles happen, but long-term payouts shadow the underlying resource, not the Fed meeting calendar. Question. Can I split the triangle inside multiple tax wrappers? A. Absolutely. Many viewers run RLTY in a taxable account to harvest foreign tax credits, park WEBX inside a growth shelter wrapper, and hold IPAY in a high-yield savings ISA equivalent. Mix the taste. Question. What's the exit signal? A. 2 consecutive quarters of negative payout growth, coupled with sub-1 coverage. Until then, sit on your hands. Activity masquerading as progress is the biggest yield killer. Quick mindset gem before we wrap. Your money is a soldier. Its mission is to win back your time, not to parade around for bragging rights. Every dollar that joins the triangle walks off the battlefield with more friends and sends them back into fight. Keep deploying the troops. We've journeyed from concept to concrete, identified royalty trusts and digital estates, wrapped them in low-friction ETFs, mapped a contribution schedule, hard-coded a review ritual, optimized tax drag, and installed a durable psychological firewall. The rest is just clock cycles. Let compound interest and human creativity play their duet, while you design the life passive income was meant to finance. Thank you for watching. Smash that subscribe button if you want your money hustling while you snooze. Share the video with someone stuck swapping hours for dollars. And drop a comment telling us the first freedom purchase you'll make once distributions top your phone bill. Catch you in the next one where we'll deep dive cash flow stacking using covered call ETFs and peer-to-peer royalties. Until then, let your wealth work harder than you ever could.